Hey everybody, it's Dina Rico with the Creativity Cave, and look at this gorgeous card that I have to share with you today. I'm so excited about it. I created this over the weekend, and I need a wedding card because my cousin is getting married in a couple weeks, and this is so perfect. So let me show you how I did this card. It's actually quite easy, but look how pretty it is. Oh, okay. So to start out, I'm going to take and emboss the wedding cake image from the Celebration Time bundle. So this is a great stamp set with a whole bunch of dies, including this one. Oops, just grabbing it from my pile of papers for my card. So there's this die. And then there's some tags, there's some presents, there's a bow, there's confetti, there's a hat with a little thingy on top, candles, you name it, we've got it. So anyway, let me show you how fun this card comes together. Okay, so I'm going to, first of all, I die cut one of the cakes in gold. That'll be the base for my cake. But then I need to stamp and emboss it with gold embossing powder. To do that, I'm going to use my embossing buddy, and I'll just run the powder over my watercolor paper so that none of the little specks of embossing stick where I don't want it to stick. Then I'm going to ink up my stamp, and I will just stamp it down on my scrap here, like so. And then I've got this giant tub of gold embossing powder. I actually don't recommend having such a big tub because it just creates kind of this powdery dust that kind of gets everywhere. I've had this for many years. Okay, so there's that. I'm also going to stamp the sentiment on a little scrap of paper right here. And I'm actually going to do my embossing buddy on that as well. And the embossing buddy just has like powder in it that helps keep the embossing powder from sticking all over your card, because when you touch your card with your hands, the oil in your hands, it wants to stick to that too. Okay, so there we've got that. All right, let me close up my powder so nothing bad happens. And then we're going to heat these two pieces up to melt the powder. Okay. So I think embossing is one of those things that when I first started stamping, I thought it was the most amazing thing ever. And I still do really like it. I just don't often pull out my embossing stuff. Okay. And we'll also do our on thinner regular cardstock. I like to do it from behind. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? But on the watercolor paper, because it's so thick, I do it on the top side. Oh my goodness, so terrible. I'm so sorry. Except it kind of makes me giggle. I think I said in a video last week I had no idea that stamping was so dirty. Okay, so there we go. We've got that all done. I'll set that aside for later. Now, we're going to color our cake with watercoloring, and the watercoloring is super easy. In fact, I hope that this will encourage you to actually do some watercoloring, because it really is super easy. I'm going to use Peekaboo Peach, Calypso Coral, and Blushing Bride to do my watercoloring. And so I'll just open each of my ink pads up, and you can see there's ink in the lid. To get that ink there, I'm just squeezing the lid to the pad, and that gives me like a little color palette. And then I'm going to take my aqua painter. If you've never used an aqua painter, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I highly, highly, highly recommend them. So they have water in the barrel, and then the water comes out through the tip, and it's sort of regulated through this fancy business right here. Okay, so to start this, I'm going to start with my darkest color at the bottom, and I'm just going to literally paint a little strip of that darker color right there. Okay, and now we're going to switch. Now here's what I like to do. Either a paper towel or something. In this case, I don't have something. I use a rag quite a bit, but I don't have one handy. So I'm just going to use my Stampin' scrub to clean my ink between colors. Okay, so next we'll do the Peekaboo Peach and clean, and then we'll pick up our Blushing Bride. And I just think this is so pretty. So that will be our order. Now I'm going to skip ahead and just do the 2 Blushing Brides since I happen to have my ink on there right now. Okay, and notice I'm going over because we're going to die cut this out, so we'll miss all the messy part. Okay, next I'll do my Peekaboo Peach. So I guess what I was trying to say is once you have established your pattern, then you can figure out where the colors go so that you don't have to constantly change colors. That was what I was trying to say. Okay. And what's nice about this is the embossing kind of helps naturally keep the colors in their sections, which is great. And then all we have to do is fill the rest in. So isn't that just beautiful? Okay, I'm going to die cut it with my die, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I have die cut my little cake, and you can see we've got some of the rest of the cake on here, so we don't actually need that. I'm going to trim those parts off. So I'm going to trim the base off, and then I'm going to trim this bow off. Okay, so there's the rest of our cake. There's just a little teeny bit right there. Then what I'm going to do is adhere it to the gold one that I previously cut, and then the gold makes up the cake base, you know, the stand, I guess, and then the cute bow on top. And I love piecing together these 2 parts because it really looks fancy with the watercoloring and everything. So I kind of like that look. Okay, there we go. Now, let's put our card together. I'm using some DSP. This is from, I grabbed it to show you, the Bundle of Love. I keep forgetting what it's called. Bundle of Love, and it is really cool paper because the patterns have either a gold design on them, or they have, look at that gold, or on the back side they have either pink or blue for baby stuff. So it kind of works for weddings and for babies, which is really fun. But I just love the gold stuff. So I'm going to take my gold piece of patterned paper and adhere it to just a trimmed layer of Very Vanilla. And by the way, I love the look of these colors against vanilla. I think it's really fun. Okay, then I have got my Very Vanilla card base, which I will fold. And then the reason I have this separate layer is so that I can tie ribbon around it, which is kind of nice. And it makes your card a little fancier. And this is a special card, so of course we want to make sure it's fancy. Okay, I will just tie this crinkled seam binding in a knot. Now, all of the supplies and dimensions and everything that I used are on my blog. You can click over by just going to the description of this video. It has the link right there for you. There's also links in the bottom of the description for you to click on to shop my online store. And oh my gosh, I would so appreciate it if you shopped through my online store. It helps me bring more awesome videos just like this one to you each week. Okay, so there is just my knot of ribbon, and then I will attach this to my card base. Now I also, as you can see here, die cut the largest circle from the Stitched Shapes Framelits. This is in Peekaboo Peach. And I'm going to place my cake right on top. I actually originally did it in gold, but then that was a lot of gold. So I liked the color better, and it kind of brought out that fun peekaboo peach color. Okay, so I'm going to flip that over and pop my cake up onto this circle, which is so cute, I think. Of course, I'm biased, but it's okay. And then I will just scooching my ribbon over as much as I can. And then I will pop this up onto my card. And I do need to scooch my ribbon over. Here's a little bit of why I only put adhesive at the top and the bottom of cards, is so a situation like this arises, I can scooch my ribbon over and make sure that there's enough room for my circle, which is kind of an awesome thing. Whenever you can fix things a little bit, I would hate to have had to start all over after all that, especially because I have this printed paper and I don't want to waste any of that. I mean, that would be crazy. But I don't want to hoard it either. And are there any of you out there nodding your heads about the fact that you're a printed paper hoarder? Because I know you are. I have heard the stories and seen the stamp rooms. I have also been known to hoard paper, but I really have decided recently that I just need to use it because it does no good to keep in my collection. Like literally, what's the point of that? Use it or lose it. That's what I like to say. Okay, so I'm going to do my triple banner punch to trim my Celebrate up a little bit. Okay. And then I will just rest this on the cake, kind of like so. Put one dimensional on this side, and then the rest will be kind of even with the cake. And I'll put a little adhesive just to hold it. And then I always kind of like to curl the edges of my flag. So anyway, there you go. Isn't this a gorgeous card? So easy. Oh my goodness. And I think this is going to be perfect for my wedding. So thank you again so much for joining with me. Don't forget to click over to my blog. And if you click this little square right here, you can subscribe to my video and catch all of the awesome stuff that I share. Thanks so much for stamping with me, guys. I'll see you again soon. Bye.